joined here by Bob Dean, who leads our International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. So thank you, Bob, for being with us. And I want to extend my sincere appreciation to everyone who's here and joining us so that we can share more information with you about the fire that occurred over the weekend and the subsequent outage that impacted many of our customers in San Francisco and through this morning. I want to first begin by thanking the City of San Francisco, the fire department, the first responders, Mayor Daniel Luray for ongoing coordination. Safety is always our most important responsibility, and we appreciate their partnership in keeping our customers safe. To our San Francisco customers and visitors, we completely understand the disruption and frustration this fire and outage caused, especially during the holiday season, and we sincerely apologize for the inconvenience it caused. Our teams have been working safely and urgently to restore power, and we are grateful for their around-the-clock response, and you can see a lot of our teams working behind me who haven't stopped since the fire and the outage occurred right around 1 p.m. on Saturday. I know many of you have questions about the events that led to the fire and the outage and what happened. I'd like to clarify a few facts for you. The fire and outage began shortly after 1 p.m. on Saturday at our Mission substation, which is the current location that we are at, initially impacting about 40,000 customers. We do not know yet the root cause of the fire and the outage, given the extensive damage that our equipment experienced inside the station as a result of the fire. This damage included damaging one of our critical system components known as a circuit breaker, which is a safety switch that de-energizes electricity when there's an issue that's detected on the electrical system. The cause of the fire and the outage is under investigation. We've engaged an independent third-party engineering firm to complete the root cause evaluation. We had to de-energize additional portions of our electric system to make it safe for the fire department to suppress the fire, which caused outages to peak at approximately 130,000 customers by 4 p.m. The fire suppression involved additional complexities. As you can see behind me, this is a multi-level building with electrical equipment, and the complexities included ventilating carbon monoxide from the multi-level building and the entirety of the building, so it was safe for our personnel to begin initiating the restoration process. By 6:15 p.m., the fire department made the location safe, enabling our teams to initiate damage assessment and begin restoration. And again, I would like to highlight the tremendous work that the San Francisco Fire Department did safely to be able to make the building safe for our teams to be able to enter and start the initiation of the restoration process. Approximately 2 hours after we were able to enter the building, by 8:45 p.m., we were able to restore nearly 32,000 customers. By 9:30 p.m. on the same day on Saturday, we had restored nearly 100,000 customers. So that means we restored about 75% of the total effective customers within 3 hours and 15 minutes from the time we had the ability to begin restoration. 90% of all customers that were impacted have been restored by noon as of yesterday, with about 15,000 customers remaining out of power. As about an hour ago, 4,700 customers in the Presidio, Richmond District, Golden Gate Park, and small areas of downtown San Francisco remain without power, and we are working as quickly and as safely as possible to get them restored. As we have continued our intrusive damage assessment process, we have identified significant damage to our system, and some customers that were scheduled to be restored by 2 p.m., we may have to go beyond that time to ensure that our system is stable and safe. Overall, we will have more than 96% of our impacted customers restored by 2 p.m. today, and our focus is to ensure that we leave no customer behind. I would like to stress that the damage from the fire in our substation has been significant and extensive, requiring complex, safety-focused repairs. Naturally, the fire had to be addressed before we could start the restoration process. Once it was safe to do so, we mobilized every available engineer and electrician into the city, as you can see behind me, to accelerate the restoration process. Throughout this response, Safety has been our top priority. There are no known injuries to our coworkers or members of the public. Now, you may be wondering why this failure occurred. We perform regular inspections and preventative maintenance on our substation equipment. We completed preventative maintenance at this very specific substation as recent as October of 2025. We also complete inspections every 2 months or bi-monthly. The last inspection was completed on December 5th of this year. As part of the root cause that is being performed by a third-party engineering firm, we will determine what occurred to ensure it never happens again. We completely understand the significant impact that this outage has had caused by the fire and the significant hardship, especially for those who are without power for extended periods of time. We want to acknowledge that many customers received estimated times of restoration that proved to be inaccurate. We understand how frustrating and confusing this was. In general, our estimated time of restoration systems perform well. Year to date, we have been able to restore more than 91% of our customers before or by the time the estimated time of restoration has been provided across our system. Obviously, that did not work effectively in this circumstance over this weekend. And we are committed to understanding exactly what happened, why it happened, and owning the fixes and address any issues so that we mitigate reoccurrence to be able to help improve our customer communications and experience going forward. To support those customers, we opened a community resource center in our Richmond district. The Customer Resource Center offers charging stations, free Wi-Fi, and other amenities. We have also partnered very closely with 211 to be able to help provide the network of door-to-door wellness checks, provide hotel accommodations, and food vouchers to the most vulnerable customers to help them stay safe and comfortable during the outage. I cannot express how we take to the heart the impact that our customers have had. We own that, and we're committed to ensuring that we're doing right by them and we're leaving no customer behind as part of this process. We will connect with our impacted customers and provide information on our website and through our customer service team very soon on how they can go through a claims-related process through the outage to make sure we do right by them. And we're going to make this process as simple and as responsive as possible. Before I wrap up today and invite Bob Dean to share some of his sentiments and remarks, I want to acknowledge that there's 2 strong winter storms that we're forecasting to move through our service area tomorrow and later on Wednesday. Our teams are forecasting that in parts of the North Coast we could see 4 to 10 inches of rain. Snow levels are expected to be above 6,000 feet. We are prepared. Per our standards and protocols, we have activated our Emergency Operations Center as well as all of our regional and local storm emergency centers. Although impacts are anticipated system-wide, we have pre-positioned additional crews where storm impact is expected to be most severe. More than 5,500 PG&E frontline co-workers and contractors will be supporting the storm response. Our commitment to safety, reliability, and customer support remains unwavering, no matter what challenges lie ahead. So before we go into Q&A, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation for your time and invite Bob Dean to share some of his remarks.
I'm also here to talk about the workforce, the men and women that you see putting all this behind you. They were here immediately after the event. After this event, they'll be here 24/7 until we get this stabilized. They've been here 24 hours a day working on this to get it stabilized. This is their community too. They have as much at stake here as anybody else. They want this power back. They want this station to be stable. In the atmospheric rivers and all that's coming, we have an army of people ready to put those cities back. If there's problems there, we do not anticipate that. But if it's there, if it happens, they're there. These are the most highly trained, motivated workforce our nation has to offer. So what you see behind you, the men and women that are putting the substation back are the best the nation has to offer. It can't get any better. They're going to do it as safely and as quickly as possible. This is a very complex, highly complex situation and a very highly complex electrical system. But rest assured it's going to be done safely and as quickly as humanly possible with the best people that the country has to offer. And that pretty much is all I got to say, except that if this continues, we're going to have an army of people to respond. It won't be for lack of effort. Both PG&E and IBW 1245 are going to make sure everybody is here that's necessary to get this done. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. We'll open it up for Q&A. Yes, sir.
It sounds like you're saying that most of this is because of this fire that happened, but the power outages started on Saturday morning around 9 with like 1,400 or 14,000 customers out in the Richmond district. How to make this timeline make sense? That started in the morning, but you're saying that this fire started in the afternoon.
Sir.
Tell me about, make that make sense.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that question. The reported outages in the morning is some misreporting, so our teams are clarifying that and engaging. There were no outages that we experienced and confirmed on our system in the Richmond district the morning of. The first set of outages that we picked up was in the afternoon, right around 1:09 p.m. When we experienced the fire and the outage that occurred at this very facility behind us.
So there were no outages Saturday morning.
Correct. That we have no record of any outages on our system on Saturday morning to the tune of what you're talking about, 14,000 plus. I know there were a couple of different media outlets that reported on that. Our teams are working on getting that record clear and working with the respective media outlets to provide the appropriate factual information for transparency.
I think it was your map that was saying that there were outages in those neighborhoods at that time. So do you have any idea why the PG&E outage map would have been saying that there were outages in the Richmond at the level that you described, but that wasn't actually the case?
So I don't have that very specific information, so thank you, JD, right? Number. We don't have that information. I don't have that information available. We will take that back and ensure that we close the loop with you on that.
Why didn't you have a press conference like this sooner? It's been 48 hours since this happened, so why was the communication more transparent from the start?
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. So in terms of having a press conference, we a very dynamic situation when it happened. It was evolving in real time. There was complexity, as I mentioned, with the response, with the fire itself, given its electrical equipment inside the building. So the situation, escalated very quickly in terms of, the communication and the frequency and the cadence of that. We own that. The multiple estimated time of restorations that were not accurate. I talked about that as well in terms of more than 91% accuracy that we see across the system. Obviously did not work here, so we own that as well. And we wanted to ensure we had a level of detailed information that we're able to share here with you, because a lot of this was moving real time, and as you can appreciate, JD, we didn't have really good insights given the amount of damage our equipment has experienced because of the fire itself. So our focus was to be safe and to be able to restore as many customers as quickly as we could, which is what we did. As we got safe access to the facility, we were able to restore nearly 75% of our customers within the first 3 hours and 15 minutes.
This is really
Sorry.
eerily similar to what happened 22 years to the date back in 2003 when there was that mass outage in San Francisco. PG&E advocated for a bond, said this was because of aging infrastructure. What happened there? I mean, is some of that maintenance problems that you had to do, is that because of the infrastructure? Like, what changed?
Yeah, thank you for that question. You're alluding to that 2003 fire that occurred at the same very facility. What I can share with you is we're going to understand, kind of what happened in this fire, in this outage, if there's any connection to that. But what I can tell you is that over the last 20 years, we have invested more than $2 billion in our electrical system in San Francisco alone for reliability, and multiple hundreds of millions of dollars just in our substation equipment itself. And in this very facility behind me, we have invested more than $200 million and upgraded a significant portion of the equipment itself since 2003.
So when you had the maintenance and then the inspection in recent months, did no red flags pop up? Like, how would this have been prevented?
There was no issue that we identified based on the information we have reviewed so far, and given that it's 2 days removed, there's a lot more detailed investigation and records that we're going to be reviewing, interviewing folks, and this is all going to be done by a third-party engineering firm that's going to do the forensics itself. But we did not identify any issue on the preventative maintenance that I mentioned in October of 2025, and then the every 2-month inspections that we do, which was done on December 5th. So there was nothing that was identified that was a red flag per se, and we're going to understand all of that as part of the root cause that's underway.
Are other substations expected to be as vulnerable as this one, given the coming conditions?
Thank you for that question. We have no indication of that, sir. We have made significant upgrades to our substations in these facilities, as I mentioned, more than $2 billion over the last 20 years. So we have no indication of any of those vulnerabilities in those substations, and we're prepared to be able to ensure that we can respond to the storm safely, quickly, so that all of our customers who are friends, families, and neighbors can enjoy the holiday season with their family and loved ones.
Well, you said there's a third-party engineering firm investigating this. Do you know the name of that? And will there be other investigations?
Sure, it's Exponent. So it's a firm that does a lot of different failure type of analysis, and they're very equipped to have the right level of technical capabilities and be able to do the forensics, both from a records review as well as understanding the equipment, and they do a fairly comprehensive assessment and a thorough review as part of that. And as we learn more, we're going to make that transparent.
Are they based here?
Exponent is based out of the Bay Area. I think they've got one of their offices out in the Peninsula area, so they're not too far away from where we are.
And how about the fire department and other investigations outside of PG&E?
So we're going to be fully coordinating and supporting any investigations that the fire department may do. So that's really their call, their decision. But we're going to continue to collaborate and partner with them, just as we have since this incident happened and before this incident, because we work very well with the San Francisco Fire Department. So we will support any other external investigation that happens.
So
Yes, sir.
I think from customers, the biggest concern has been that shifting deadline for restoration of services. You started to address this, but I understand how complex the situation is. Why not give that longer timeline? Because I think for a lot of residents, they say they've stayed in their homes because they were told it would be restored by 5 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, then the following day, then the following day. If you had just given that longer timeline on the outset, they could have planned accordingly, just sought to shelter elsewhere or whatever, and made other plans.
Sure.
How do you address those customers who are concerned about that communication?
Yeah, so that concern is well placed, is what I say, and we're as concerned as they are, because as I mentioned, our systems, which evaluate multiple years, of data to help inform outages and what the best estimated time of restoration is, has worked fairly well across our system, more than 91% accuracy. It obviously did not work in this instance. We own that, and we're committed to understanding exactly what happened, why it happened, make the fixes with a sense of urgency to ensure it never happens again.
You mentioned that there's going to be some sort of a claims process. We've had supervisors on our air talking about supermarkets having to throw out food, restaurants were closed, there's a whole bunch of businesses that are still closed.
Yeah.
How much can people claim?
So we're working through those details now. What we're committing to is...
What's a good number? Like, what's your ceiling?
Yeah, I don't have that number right in front of me, but what I can tell you is we're going to do right by our customers. We understand the significant impact that it caused for food spoilage, for our residential customers, for one of the peak days within the year. Restaurants, are very busy. The city was full of people shopping the weekend before Christmas. That is not lost on us whatsoever, and we're committing to an expedited process. We're working through those details at the very moment, and we're going to be reaching out to those impacted customers very soon and ensure that we can help support them through that process in an expedited manner.
There's a friend of mine who still has his power out a block and a half away,
Yes,
and I asked him, what would you ask at this news conference? He says, I'm pissed every time I already look at a PG&E electric bill, and I still have no power.
I understand. So I can understand that. What I can tell you is you can see the men and women behind me. They have put their blood, sweat, equity, and tears since the incident happened, working around the clock to make sure we restore every single customer. I understand that anger. I can appreciate that anger, and we'll do everything that we can to go to restore everyone as safely and as quickly as possible. And I also do understand that when our customers pay a bill, they expect a certain level of service and reliability. And we're working every single day to make that investment, to do better, and to earn the privilege to serve our customers in San Francisco.
I don't think there's, anger at your workers who are working hard to repair the lines, but more so at PG&E. I mean, can customers who do not have power right now, don't know when it will be restored, are they going to be expected to pay the same level of electric bill at the end of the month?
Well, that goes right back to the comment I made about the claims process, making sure we're doing right by those customers, especially those that have continued to experience the extended outage duration. So we're going to commit to that. My request for those customers is, I know there's resources that are available. I talked about the Customer Resource Center in Richmond District. It provides amenities, charging capabilities, Wi-Fi. I know it may not be sufficient. I understand that in terms of their sentiments. We've got the 211 process. We're supporting that. Whether it's a hotel voucher, whether it's a accommodation that has to be made, we're pulling out all stops and leaving no rock unturned to ensure that every customer is cared for. But I do understand their sentiment, and I can tell you and commit to the fact that our teams right behind me are working as safely and as diligently as possible.
If you push back the 2 p.m. deadline, when's the next updated deadline for 100% restoration?
Yes, ma'am. It was, and as our teams have continued to evaluate and do the intrusive damage assessment, we've identified additional damage within our facility behind me. And as we build and bring the system back, we have to be able to reconfigure a pretty complicated and complex electrical grid. So what we want to do is when we put it back, we want to be able to do it in a stable manner so that when we put it back, it does not necessarily create another outage and inconvenience and impact for our customers. So that's the intent behind being thoughtful, methodical, and as we do this, provide the stability of the grid so our customers can count on us and go into the holidays with their family and loved ones in a way where they don't have to worry about a power outage.
But you're not giving a number. You're not giving an hour or a couple hours or
Yeah,
any
so
sort of estimate.
we'll be sharing that soon. Our teams are actively working that. This is just real-time information that was provided by this team in the field. And there's a big set of our teams that are coordinating with the local team, the local emergency center, and our emergency operations center in Vacaville. So we'll be sharing that number here soon.
Customers and businesses who've experienced financial losses at this point, will you be offering any immediate compensation at this already financially strained time of year?
Yes, that's what I mentioned in terms of that the damage claim process and the
Is it
impact.
immediate?
It is going to be expedited, and it's going to be
Before
put.
Christmas?
It's going to be put. I don't know about Christmas. We are going to be focused on it right away, and we will get that information out as soon as possible, and we're going to be putting that out there so that they are very clear on how they can go about putting their claims forward, and then on the back end,
So they'll have to go through a claims process. You're not offering anything to affected customers up front to help get them through the holidays financially.
We're going to expedite that process very quickly.
But it'll have to go through a claims process. You've not set aside funds
Well,
to issue immediate compensation for those affected, whose addresses you do have.
yeah, well, that's we do have to follow a process, right, ma'am? So that is it.
So no, there will be no immediate compensation for customers.
It will be through that claims process.
That's not immediate though.
It is.
It will have to go through a claims
It'll be,
process.
it'll be expedited.
Expedited claims process.
We have time for about one more question.
Eastbound underground meter service, we know that is down, but westbound running. How is that possible that one is running in one direction eastbound but not westbound?
Yeah. So it's a network system, and the system behind us ends up feeding the west side primarily of the city and portions of the downtown. It's about 133 customers that are served by this system itself, and there's some additional similar facilities that we have. So it could be that we have interconnection from one of our other substations that's providing service to that specific line that's going in that one direction.
How can you not know the root cause after 48 hours? Why do you have to hire a third party to investigate?
Yeah.
Did it have to do with the rain at all? We heard rumors that the wires were shorted from the rain. Is it properly insulated here to prevent that?
Yeah, that's all speculation at this point, sir. So the reason why we have to do a root cause is because of the amount of impact that our equipment experienced from the fire itself. So that's why we have to go through that forensics. Our teams are engaged with them as well, but we want to make sure that we've got a full suite of comprehensive capabilities across the board. Our engineers, our technicians, our substation engineers, they're all engaged who have this experience. We want to be able to bring a third party in to make sure that we're not missing anything as part of that causal evaluation. So that's the intent behind it.
Some people who lost power and tried to get hotel vouchers were told that they were not, by PG&E call center employees, that they were not eligible to receive them even though they lost power. Do you know why that might be?
I don't have that. We will again get back to you on that, JD. So I've taken 2 follow-ups. So one is, why was our outage management system showing the outages Saturday morning, and then the second one is why some of the customers were not supported for a hotel voucher.
Yeah.
So we've got those 2 follow-ups. I know our media team's here. We'll close the loop with you on that.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for being here today. This is an active work site, so we have to give it back to our crews. You want to close this out?
Yeah, I would just say thank you so much for being here. I fully understand and appreciate the emotion and the passion and lived experience. That is a lived experience that our customers do not have to live with, do not expect, and expect more. That's exactly what we are doing. What I can tell you is our men and women have been going through a heroic effort to be able to restore safely and as quickly as possible. It's a complicated situation. We've had to do a lot of switching, a lot of different configurations to be able to bring our customers back. And if we didn't have that resilient system in place, this kind of an impact could last for multiple weeks. But that's not the case. We're several days in, understand the impact. We're going to do right by our customers, leave no customer behind. We understand the impact, and we're going to do right by every single one of them. So thank you for being here, and just know that PG&E is on the job, and we're up for earning the trust and the privilege to continue to serve our customers and serve our customers. So thank you so much. Be safe. Have a great day.
And you've been hearing an update from PG&E on that massive outage that caused so many people to lose power, of course, in San Francisco starting on Saturday and through the weekend. And there are still some people without without power right now, about 5,000 customers, but we're working to get an update on that as well. But still a lot of unanswered questions from PG&E. We did get a timeline and some details as to what happened. We know that there was a fire and an outage that happened at 1 p.m. on Saturday at the Mission substation. About 40,000 customers were impacted in San Francisco. They don't know the cause, but they say that there was major damage to the circuit breaker. No injuries were reported, and they are working to make sure it doesn't happen again. We also got some more details, but still waiting to confirm information about people getting some kind of compensation for this power outage, from hotel accommodations to food vouchers. They say there will be information on their website, and they're going to work to expedite that process. But again, we are still working to get more details on that. So we have a reporter there on the scene who was asking some questions. We'll have the very latest for you in our later newscasts with any new details that we learn from PG&E about this outage and any new information that comes out. We will update our website as well. You can get the very latest on abc7news.com. And we, of course, will stream it for you live if there is new breaking news that comes in. Thank you so much for watching. For right now, we're going to take you back to regular programming, but we will have the very latest for you on our next live newscast that's at 3 and 4 o'clock today. Thanks for watching.